Hi, my name's Tina. I just wanted to say to Paul that I'm glad that Pluto has moved to Capricorn. My ascendant is 28 degrees of Sag, so I'm glad it's into Capricorn now. But my question is, why do many of us see 11 or associate with 1111?
It's a gateway, an opening to a gateway, the 1111. It's like, it's just something that's tapping in from your unconscious to your conscious level. So many people see this as the first part of the pathway that's opening in you. Yeah. Very powerful this year on 1111. Do something amazing, bring a group together and just bring in your highest calling, your highest dreaming. Very potent at this time. It can shift in a moment.
And it makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you do a 10, that goes down to a 1, which is new beginnings. Yeah. So number 2 is the doorway, because when you've got your new beginnings, then you've got everything that's going to happen after that, and that would also represent the 11.
So there are times, though, that I might see 1111 all the time, every day, morning and night, wake up in the middle of the night at 1111.
Means you're awakening.
Does that mean a particular... And I, it's not just me, I say it to lots of people, they go, oh, I do that too. So is that...
It's your soul calling you home. It's saying, wake up.
Are we supposed to do something at that time?
Yeah,
or?
dream your dream and go for it.
I'd say if you can't find the answer, or it doesn't sit well with you, or whatever you hear here, I'd say when you go to bed, you say, I allow myself to get the answer to the 1111, thank you. Ask for it.
I've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah, well, ask for it.
I just keep seeing it.
I've learned when you ask for something, like you say, I want to know what the 1111 is, you know, they're going to go, well, forget it, you're not going to know. Because want to them is actually like a greed. Mm-hmm. I want. Okay, it's a denser vibration. So in actual fact, if you go to bed and say, I allow myself to receive the answer to the 1111, or remember what it is, I think you'll dream it, or it will come.
I have a simpler answer for what happened for me when that happened, and it was simply just confirmation all the time. When you're looking at collecting evidence about whether or not your consciousness and your awakening is happening, often you'll get those signs. So it's really just saying to you, it still turns up to say, Tina, you got it. You know, so almost move on to another number. Do you know what I mean? Like acknowledge it and say, I've seen it, I'm aware of it. Okay, I hear it, and really acknowledge that, because that's a really important thing. Otherwise you're going, well, what is it? It's just acknowledging it, that you're waking up and you're having more consciousness. It's also sort of about developing your intuition when you're starting to rely on that sixth sense. We so often have those sorts of messages and we can tend to ignore them. But it's actually saying to you, start using those signals and messages more in your life about making your decisions. Go with that way of thinking rather than being logical in your thought patterns and decisions you're going to make. So that's how I've used it.
And if you notice, when you actually ask the question and you get the answer, it all changes. Because you're on to your next experience or the next lesson or your next awakening, your next level. It's like a staircase.
It's almost like they're tapping you going, are you awake? You're paying attention? And you're like, yeah, I can see it. But it's about really acknowledging that and saying, okay, I've heard that, and then you'll get the next sort of messages.
Ananara, you're going to add something?
Oh, it's just that Spirit's calling you home.
Okay, thank you.
You're not going to die either.
That's all right, thank you.
Out of curiosity, show of hands, how many people see this 1111? Let's just see how many hands are out. Look at that. Yeah, it's with so many people getting this message, isn't it? Phenomenal. Yay.
It's like deja vu, isn't it? Knowing that you're on the right path when you have deja vu, because you choose everything before you incarnate.
Yep.
And you come down, you walk your path and you go, oh, I've done all this. Of course, because you've done it prior. You've picked it. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Great question.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Megan. Deb, this is for you. Just out of curiosity, what happens when we do pass over? I mean, what are we doing? What are they doing?
Not much. No. Depending on, well, it's different for absolutely everyone it passes. So you may become an angel and work in the angelic light. You might become a guide. You might sit out there and have to go through your whole judgment, because you will judge yourself when you pass over. We've got no right to judge anyone. It's pretty much against universal law in a way. But we seem to do it as humans. So the first thing that will happen when you pass over, you will follow your body until you are buried or until you are cremated. You will go to your funeral. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the first thing you do. You will make contact with one person that's alive, And that it's up to that one person really to share that. Every soul makes contact with the human being after they pass over, but if someone in the family gets it and they don't share it, you don't know. The next process will be your judgment. You go to a realm, you look at your whole life from basically your parents having intercourse. So you go through that process, and then it will be, well, what sort of person or what vibration do you vibrate on? Are you a high vibration? That means you go like up into the high-rise building, or a low dense vibration, meaning if you're a murderer, let's say, you could be on a lower vibration. It's the way to describe it so a human brain can understand it is, I say it's a high-rise building, there's the penthouse on top, and that's where we're all trying to get back to, the penthouse. But in actual fact, the God source, or the one energy, is actually over the edge of that penthouse. And that's where we have nothing but everything. That is the greatest consciousness of everything. So we're just trying to go up those levels. So when you pass over, depending who you are, what you've done, how you've reacted, you might even get stuck. If you're materialistic and you... it's more a story, it becomes easier. In one of my shows, there was a woman there, her husband had passed over, and I said, he's stuck, he's hanging around, like he won't move, his soul is still in the house and won't leave. And she wanted him to go, so his soul could be free. And he said, I'm not going anywhere because I don't like the carpet in the lounge room. Now how's that? That one attachment has held his soul back. And she said, he always hated that carpet in the lounge room. He always complained about it, and she wouldn't get rid of it. So she said, I'm going home tonight and I'm going to rip that up. Because the most beautiful thing we could do for someone that's actually passed over is say, go. Just go to the light. If you allow them to go, they can always come back and visit. Grief stops them from visiting because it's a fear. Grief is actually a low, dense, vibrational emotion. The higher you get, the easier it is to communicate. Like you were saying, feeling good and everything. Spirit want that because that's what we truly are. Truly are. Yeah. So depending on what sort of person you are here.
Now also, if someone passes over, but then they reincarnate, can you still... I mean, what happens if you want to hear from that person? Say your mother passes over, but then she's maybe reincarnated. Can you still channel her?
Yeah, you can channel them forever because there's another 11 of them.
Right.
No, you can. So and you can channel someone that's incarnated anyway, because remember, it's conscious energy. I'm not actually talking to the person. I'm communicating with energy, which is everything. It's a blob of is that the consciousness? How else can I explain that? I think that's the only way I can explain it. But it's interesting too, because people incarnate into the same family all the time, but you can be a different nationality. And so you can give birth to your father. But you'll know it's your father because the child will have a very similar look about them. They may walk the same, talk the same. There are characteristics that you know that must have been my dad. And I met a lady that had a baby, and her father, when he came through in the reading, said, "You're going to have me," and she felt sick, knowing that she's going to give birth to her father. And she said, "Well, how will I know?" And I said, "Well, it was going to be the birthmark on your baby is exactly the same as your father's." And it was. Exactly the same. On the stomach, little dots, little marks and everything. That was for her to know that's her father. But mind you, the baby doesn't know that he was her father until they become aware of it. And then you look into your past lives and go, "Oh my gosh, I could have been your grandmother or great-grandmother or something."
Paul?
Look, the whole idea of incarnation is that the soul keeps coming back basically to raise the level of vibration, and we keep coming back and we keep experiencing on the physical plane, and hopefully one day we come back as angels and spirit guides, or to understand, of course, that we're angels here right now on earth. And if we open our hearts a little bit more and start to have less separation and less mind and less ego, and let's get together and we can start doing some powerful things. And whether it's spirits helping us or it's us doing it on this physical plane, we're all in it together.
This can be heaven on earth, can't it?
Absolutely.
It's meant to be.
It's supposed to be.
Louise?
It's really probably what Paul was talking about before, is about really focusing on what you're doing now. Because really you can only remember now. As Eckhart Tolle talks about, it's always in the power of the moment now. So everything that's happened previously, while it can be relevant to you, it's about how you can apply it now in your life lessons and what you're going to learn and clear now while you're here and you're remembering it. Because I don't know if for any of you guys, but I never remember any of my past lives unless I've gone and done some work. But it's really about taking those lessons of where you are right now and this version of reincarnation, I'd suggest, and how you can get to be the most authentic self you can be now. That's what I'd be working on.